right, welcome back, everybody. It is that every other Monday,
It
and
is.
I'm still trying to see why Rumble has not quite gone yet. I'm a little concerned there. There we
Hang on.
go. There we go. Finally went. All right. Whew.
It's
Okay.
always it's a little behind unless you use the high quality stream thing.
Yeah, and StreamYards is starting to kind of bug me, and I'm wanting to move away from it, but I'm trying to figure out my plan B for that to get everybody in here so
Gotcha.
that we can kind of do it that way. And I may do some testing with you that weekend. I have an idea for trying. I know Gilded can kind of do it. Um, and I kind of want to play around with layouts and see if it'll do multiple virtual cameras or if it'll only do the one. So I'm not quite sure on that. But hi, everybody.
Hello.
I don't know
Hello.
if we have anybody in. Does not look like we have too many people popping in from Rumble yet. I did throw it out there. There had been about 6 people that had already kind of like checked it out. I
There's
there's Scepter.
Scepter.
Had already popped in and checked it out like briefly, even though I had it set for 8:30 and I tried to tell everybody it was like 8:30. And there's Vinny.
Oh, and there's Vinny.
So we got a few people over here. We'll see
They're
who
coming.
else pops in. I know I advertised it pretty heavily for people in the Rumble community who have all been really, really good people to kind of get to know. I do encourage any of you guys that are still kind of watching this on YouTube to kind of come over to Rumble and kind of check things out, see what you think. I honestly am starting to kind of really like it as a platform. Everybody's been really kind of cool to get to know. Everybody's just kind of more interested in just playing games and chit chatting, and that's really kind of where I think we're all at.
That's where
I think that's what we want to do.
And that's been. I mean, I know I've talked about it a ton. I know, we have. There's been some struggles with all of us getting things kind of set up on it and stuff, but at the end of the day, that community, man, is just insanely friendly, welcoming, and that's really what has drawn me into the platform more than anything. So,
I forgot to throw my background up, which it doesn't really. I didn't change it. I totally forgot about it.
Slide it over.
I got in a hurry. I was trying to make thumbnails for this. I was trying to make thumbnails for another video. I was trying to do a little bit of writing because I'm trying to speed up my process because I want to start doing more streaming on Rumble. I feel like that's what the community kind of wants. That's where they kind of engage. And I want to be able to give that to the community and be part of that community. But the struggle is real with my editing. A lot of times it will take me the full week to write, do voiceover, do editing, and then a lot of times I'm finishing it up on Saturday or Sunday. And that's just for my weekly stuff. That's nothing extra. So if I'm trying to do longer videos, that takes a long time.
Right.
And so trying to work streaming into that while I'm still taking a break, it still takes time to set up. It still takes time to do it. Then I have to disengage and break everything down and start doing other things. And then I have other things I have to do during the weekend too. So
I know.
I got to figure out the timing is what I've got to do. It's not from a lack of a desire. It's a logistics problem I have to overcome.
Right.
That's really what it is.
No, I get it. And I mean, it's why you don't see a lot of edited video content on my channel, because at the end of the day,
you've never really gotten the props I feel like you deserve when you do those either. So I see why you kind of just cut those out a lot of times.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I appreciate that. I mean, your videos are better than mine, but
it's like, no, I want you here.
Sorry, Luke. It is inevitable. A lot of it's time, though. What would I rather spend my time doing? Making an edited video, or playing a game, firing up a stream, and talking to people?
See, I'm the former most of the time.
No, and
I like edited content.
Oh, I know you do, and you do it so freaking well.
I like coming out with something and seeing how it turns out. I like learning new techniques on it. I like doing all this stuff.
Oh yeah. No, it works.
And it gets mixed receptions on Rumble currently as a platform because it's really geared more towards streamers right now, which is fine. I can do that. I could set some of the stuff up for like premiere streams and things like that, and I could do that, and I may do that still. But again, that still involves me. I need to be engaged, right? If I'm going to stream, I need to engage with the people I'm streaming to.
Absolutely.
I don't want to just set it and forget it and then go off and do something else while it kind of sits there. Then why did I do it if that's the case, right? So it's stuff like that I got to figure out. So we do have a third joining us tonight at some point. I don't know if he got the link. I know he
did. He said he'll be here in a minute.
Okay. So.
And yes, I will take complete and utter blame, Luke.
It's Panda and Mike's fault.
You're darn right. I'm okay with that.
But no, seriously, there's a lot of cool people in the community. I do encourage you guys to come over. You'll probably see some of them sporadically. A lot, and not as many of them are showing up in my streams as here in Mike's streams. Mike's a much better place to meet a lot of the community we're meeting. I think a lot of my stuff is people don't really know when I'm doing anything yet, and the times I'm doing it are inappropriate for most people to attend because they're trying to go to sleep or they're streaming. It's one or the other. So a lot of people are catching a replay, and it's not from people got to do what people got to do, right? You got work, you got your own streams, you get your own stuff going on. People pop in when they pop in. That's how streams are. That's how recorded content is. So it is kind of what it is. Oh, there's Stampede. He popped in.
Hey,
Brian's in here.
Stampede? Brian.
Great Rumble migration of 2023.
Oh yeah, I don't think Brian realizes you're over here yet.
No, no he does. He does. He followed.
What is?
He got rid of his. He said all his videos stopped pulling over, and then it ticked him off. I do not pull over videos. I upload them individually.
Yeah,
I've heard bad things about the pullover mechanism.
Not good.
It's what I do, and I was talking to somebody else about this who works on both platforms as well, is I will upload to YouTube and schedule that one a little bit later than the Rumble one. And then I'll take a lot of that format and I'll copy that over to the Rumble one because it's a little cleaner to read, especially on tags. Rumble's tags, since it doesn't separate them into that block like YouTube does, is harder for me to read. So I use YouTube's tags in order to do that quicker and easier. And then I'll copy those and I'll put those over along with everything else that I get laid out. And I can reuse a lot of features from YouTube because it's got a lot of like formatting and reuse options that I like. And then I'll set it up. And I'll usually publish the Rumble one first because I want the people on this platform. I want to make an impression on this platform, right? I want people to kind of see it. So if I'm not streaming, I want them to have something on it. And the idea is to get everything that I have on YouTube over here and to have more over here because there's a couple series I want to have time to do that I want to be exclusive to this platform. But it's a matter of getting around to them. But see, Ted's over here watching me on Rumble, and the stream quality is better on Rumble too. That's the other thing.
That's the other thing.
It's a big deal, guys. Like it is a night and day difference. You have to manually adjust everything on YouTube to a higher resolution in order to get the quality you get out of Rumble, and it's still not as good. I'll be honest, it's still not as good. So there's differences, and it depends on what you want to do and what you want to drive at. But I'm coming around to it. I'm not gonna lie. It's taken me longer because I don't quite stream as much as Mike does, and I haven't quite got I haven't made as big of a splash as Mike has. In part because what I do is kind of weird. It's always been that way. I've always been a little slow on the outtake on new platforms because what I like to do is weird.
Well,
compared to what other people want to do on platforms.
I was gonna say weird it's not. I don't think that's an accurate statement.
No, it's not like weird in a bad way. It's just unusual stuff that it brings in.
It's different.
But I'm going to bring in our third tonight, and that would be Sir X-Man. Good evening, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, whatever. How you guys doing?
We're here. Where have you been?
Exactly. We're waiting for you.
I had to reboot my computer real quick. It's quick. It was a quick reboot because my camera wasn't working when I went to hit the link. So I just redid the camera.
Born Panda has far worse things to infect people with.
Yeah, I just rebooted the whole system and went off flawlessly.
There you go.
Hey, Brian.
Brian moved over to Rumble to check everything out on Rumble.
He said, "I happened to be on YouTube when you started, but I switched over."
Oh God, not you two.
It's all of us. You just may as well.
We're all kind of moving that direction, my man. It's a good platform.
You like Trek, right? You like Trek, right? X.
I'm always a Trekkie for life. Living, bleeding.
Resistance is futile.
And Panda over on Rumble says, Nick, you think you're weird. Have you heard of a 500-foot panda wearing a submarine on its back? Yes, I have, sir. Yes, I have.
I got no comment for that.
Well, then you just haven't lived, sir.
Oh, I lived.
By the way,
I binge watched all of one of my favorite quirky shows from the 70s, America's Greatest Hero, with William Catt.
Oh,
there was some episodes I didn't think I.
Wait a minute, you're talking about
is that the one that the guy in the red suit and like the blonde hair?
Yeah, they got the suit from the aliens and stuff.
Time. It's called The Greatest American Hero.
That's why I didn't place it when he initially said it.
I forgot the part. All right.
No, it's still not the world's. It's The Greatest American Hero. Is the name of the show.
I know it. I've known it. I watched all of it when I was young, man.
Believe it or not. Oh wow, I can still sing after 2
days.
Wow, your voice isn't totally dead yet.
Hey,
not yet, but it will be.
Watch out.
Hey, dude, you've been busy
because he's got Rumble
stuff for a while.
Man, so. I've been singing for the last 2 days.
I know you're in the band, and I've heard you sing.
No, it's not.
No, man, it's holiday.
So the Jewish holiday that just ended.
All that.
Well, I'm talking about your other videos that you posted before when you were singing.
Well, yeah. He's in a band.
So I know he can sing already. I'm just harassing him. He's just
harassing me. This is what I
swear, guys. We have a topic.
This is what happens when X comes on a show. He harasses me. Oak City all over again.
Oh, it's called New Games, Old Influances.
We're gonna get him back on here. Rumble is not ready.
I'm on here now.
I think it's more ready than you think. What's up, PJ? PJ's in the house. Mr. Hinckley, and then he wasn't Mr. Hinckley anymore.
Yeah, PJ's in the house. We got Ted Redmond's over here. Vinny's over on Rumble. Scepter's over on Rumble. We got Born over here on YouTube. I don't know why he's slimming on YouTube. He's almost always over on Rumble now. Luke refuses to go to Rumble because he's got PTSD from Rumble.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to keep Luke company.
Luke company. There you go. All right. So before we get into our topic tonight is, and it kind of sounds weird. It kind of looks weird on the thumbnail because I really didn't know how to phrase it. Is what I want to do is I want to talk about older games, kind of how they worked and how difficult they were, and some of the mechanics that they had, and some of the ones that they formulated, and how those have kind of influenced a lot of the modern games that we have today. And it's kind of something that I was sort of thinking of from a new moment that I was kind of coming into. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about that game and how it didn't make as big a splash as it probably could have because of how limited its platform distribution was, right? In the scheme of things. So, but before we do that, I kind of want to go around and kind of see what everybody's been doing. We know, Mike, you've been doing some holiday stuff, but what did you do before your holiday stuff?
Let's see. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I got hooked back into that game, and
those have been fun streams.
Oh, I'm loving that game, and I might have accidentally fired it up and got to a cutscene that you guys haven't seen that changes the whole damn game.
I sort of expected that. It's all the dun 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 kind of.
Oh no, this is the dun dun dun. Nobody thought was going to happen.
Okay, it's the same thing happened in Starfield too. So I'm not.
I still got to push through that one. I'm debating if I want to stream that one or not.
I think I'm level.
Like if I get into surveying, it's very boring to watch me survey a planet. I'm not gonna lie.
You would be surprised. People will.
Oh no, surveying is fun because I love finding stuff that actually works and upgrades me. I love finding that stuff and then
I need to build.
Finding some of it. I need to upgrade my scanners. What I need to do for that one, but we're
not
going to. Hold on, stop.
Stop.
No.
Oh no!
I know.
You've already done this on my show. No. No,
It's
this
still your
one is
fault.
on you. This is
My
on
show.
You.
It's your fault.
This is on you. No.
So, Sir X-Man,
I
what you been
just
doing,
showed
man?
up, everybody. That's all. I have nothing to do with that. Not much. Just chilling out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Matthew's change is overrated. He hasn't had too much luck with it either. It depends. Again, it kind of
Depends on what you're trying to do with it.
Yeah,
I'm
and it
just
really
waiting
depends
on
on what you
Forza.
got it and what you put into it. Too.
Right, that's the other thing.
You know, it's kind of one of those things. I've been kind of bebopping around doing the same thing I do on YouTube. I go in, I support people, I hang out. I'm trying to get to know the community and figure out who I jive with and who jives with me. And maybe they come
I
over and
don't
check out my
jive with
stuff. And
nobody.
you don't jive with nobody.
Nobody. I do my
Right.
own thing. Mike will tell you that.
This is true.
Mike
By
does
the
his
way,
own thing too.
I just want to say welcome to the 30 people that are now watching us on Rumble. 31.
34 last time I looked. I'm like, what the heck?
Exactly. I'm telling you, there's an audience for this here.
I'm shocked, man. That's those are massive numbers for me covering anything, including topics that will not ever be named on the show.
I can't wait. You guys watching, I cannot wait for you guys to get to know Nick better, man. Go and check the content that's on here. The videos.
I have eclectic content, guys. So if you're here and you're new, I do game history, I do modern streams and retro streams, and this, which is ideally a mix of modern and retro. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start to get into this a little bit here. Now, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking of a couple of things. Ninja Gaiden came to mind. Metroid came to mind. Castlevania came to mind when I was thinking of a lot of these games. Because a lot of these things, and I was thinking like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and early rentals, even the mom and pop places, right? Because a lot, and initially kind of got in my head because I'm watching people play Lies of Peas, Bloodborne, Sekiro, like even a lot of the Star Wars games have kind of gone this direction, right? So you're seeing this increase in like hard games, really hard games intended to make you just kind of like grind against it. Whereas that had really not been a thing for a while. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sir X-Man. What?
No, I was laughing at that thing. And people say these games are hard. That's all.
Dude, have you played Demon's Souls? That game is brutal.
Have you played Earthworm Jim and tried?
Yes, I have. I got to like 7.1 or 7.2 on it and said, I don't want to break my thumb trying to tap this button to hover down this god awful stage.
That game is just as hard as the games of today.
In its own way, yeah. In its own way, yeah. But I think a lot of the Souls games where they really get a lot of their DNA is honestly OG Xbox. And I'm talking like the original Ninja Gaiden on Xbox, which isn't the original Ninja Gaiden. The 8-bit ones are brutal. Don't get me wrong. Those are super hard games. But those are side-scrolling platformers, and Ninja Gaiden has a lot of the DNA of the format that we really use a lot in most of these Souls games. Most of your mechanics, you can look at that game and you can go, oh, wow, I've been using those, but they're almost slower than they are Ninja Gaiden, because Ninja Gaiden was fast.
Yeah, at that time, when Ninja Gaiden 1 came out, it was the hardest game ever made. When that game came out, and you were proud to say you beat it. It was that hard. It's still hard to this day.
It's still hard today.
Dude, I got frustrated. Here's how far I got in the game. And people looked at me weird when I took it in, because I had gotten all the way to the part where you're supposed to, your blonde companion, I can't remember her name, but you were supposed to make this jump and grab her hand. And I kept falling in the freaking lava because I couldn't figure out where the next platform was. And keep in mind, this is like 1995, 90. It's early internet, right? So most of the stuff isn't in a fact. It's not in a video. It's not on YouTube. So I'm trying to make it.
1995. That was the platformer, though. The real one.
The original was more like 2000, 2001.
2002.
Yeah.
I think it was 2002. Yeah.
But still, the internet presence at that time was still like AOL. right? For a lot of people, there really wasn't the internet infrastructure really wasn't the way it was today. Because you got to remember, the internet infrastructure as we know it didn't really start to really take off until around 95, 96, right? Where it became like a popular place. YouTube started really kind of taking off.
Thank you,
E-commerce
Xbox.
became like a bigger thing. Xbox really started popularizing online gameplay with the original Xbox, right? It had been a thing on PC before then, but no consoles had really done it as well as the Xbox did it. Now, people had done it before, right? You had the Dreamcast, you had the
PlayStation 2
you had
did
the
it,
Sega
but
channel, you had the Famicom modem, you had the SNES satellite. You had all these attempts to like bring this to
the
the
Saturn
masses.
didn't do it.
The Saturn had a
didn't
net
have
link.
online. Yeah, but nobody ever went and got the net link.
It did have a net link though, so
Yeah,
it was another
I
attempt
have
in swing at trying to bring that forward, right? But it never really.
I think you had to plug that in on the side, right, Mike?
No,
It was a plug-in for the side of it.
Let me grab it.
Why did I get him? Why did we get him started?
I didn't do it this time. You did it this time. This is on you.
Yeah, I mean, basically, hey, look, it's not Papa Pete where I could just reach over here and grab it. I got to get up.
He is so prepared, man. It is scary how fast he gets.
You said Netlink. So
yeah, his room is more organized now that he got his new room. Yeah.
He just
basically that was the net.
I remember that.
And it was, I mean, it was basically it was a modem.
Right.
And
it was dial-up.
Yep, and you put it down in the cartridge slot of the Saturn, and I played. I remember the one of the first two games.
That's how the Sega Channel adapter worked. It worked the same way.
Yeah, it came with Daytona USA Netlink edition, and then I have that. I have a Duke Nukem. I have Duke
Zombies
Nukem 3D.
in the chat, by the way. Hey, Zombie.
I said hi to him. I have Duke Nukem, which uses it. Sega Rally used it. And there was one or two others that used it. The
Sega Channel guys didn't come out till 97 because I got it for my mom.
Sega Channel was Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sega Channel was Genesis.
My mom loved it. Yeah.
So, but the point stands when you start looking.
Actually,
at a game,
it launched in 1994. Is what it says.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. It was pretty hard to come by, and it only ran for like 4 years. I think it was.
And Comcast only had it because we had Comcast in our area.
Time Warner had it as well in some markets.
Time Warner had it.
Yeah, Warner also had it.
And Comcast,
but you had to get it from your cable provider or mail order it. That's kind of how
right.
It worked.
That was correct. It was awesome.
Yeah,
but that's like on TV. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and there were certain games that only came that way, like Golden Axe 3. That was the only way really to play that in the States.
Yeah,
it never got a physical release in the States, only in Japan. So it's one of those games like you can't even get a physical copy of that in the States. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things. But we're talking about back to the topic.
Starfield. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, guys. Okay, go ahead. I'm muting, Nick. It's all you now, okay, buddy?
Yep, you can.
We're gonna derail plenty. I promise you, it's gonna happen.
Well, Scepter's right. You could still use the net link. I mean, you could honestly use it because if anybody's got a landline, I could call you on it. Well, so I mean, you could still use it modem to modem.
I don't really want to call you over a net link, dude. I have a cell phone.
Well, we can't play Daytona over a cell phone.
Okay. You just said that.
I'm not with a Saturn anyway because I don't have a Saturn. I'm not going to spend that $8,000.
There are modems now that have telephone lines to them, right? And you can attach your cordless phone to them, right? So technically, you could use that as your landline now, but it'll be faster than the dial-up.
And Panda makes a good point too that the Intellivision had a type of Game Pass, and I think that was called Playcade. I want to say is what it was called. It attached to the side of the Intellivision and connected to a menu system, much like the Sega Channel. And Panda is deliberately trying to derail us back into this whole thing. But in a way, this kind of ties into how we do games today, right?
Right.
Because of the people that pioneered this technology is the reason that we have so many popular like digital games and online games and the type of online community that we have today. For good or for ill, a lot of things owe a lot of their DNA to, especially, I would give a lot of credit to this to Xbox and Xbox Live with the Xbox Live Arcade that really didn't come into like the Xbox 360,
Oh, I
but
love
still
Xbox
helped pioneer
Arcade.
and push a lot of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Now you're trying to do the past and the future, right? Technically,
yeah, I'm trying to.
channel, I'm about to do it now.
This is more what I had envisioned for like the podcast in general when I made it. A lot of times we just talk retro, which is cool, but it's nice to kind of talk about it in relation to where we are today, which is kind of where I always sort of envisioned this thing going.
Like you brought up the Sega channel. The Sega channel, we got streaming things now, was the first ever streaming a game and playing it.
No, it wasn't. That was the Intellivision and Playcade.
Yeah, Play Cable. Here it is.
Yeah, Play Cable was the first one to do that.
In 1980.
Yep.
Play Cable was an online service introduced in 1980 that allowed local cable television system operators to send games for the Intellivision over cable wires alongside normal television signals. Through the service, subscribers would use a device called the Play Cable adapter to download the games for play on their Intellivision. It was the first.
They would download the games. That's different. But Sega Channel allowed you to stream the games through their proprietary.
That's correct.
It also lets you download games.
We never downloaded it.
Yeah, it downloads it to the RAM, and that's how it runs.
Well, they were so small back then; it wasn't that hard.
The card had enough RAM to download the game and run the game from there.
It had enough cache to keep the continuous memory going, of the game going.
Well, once you powered it off, it was gone, but it was
right. It was gone.
You were doing it. It had to grab it from somewhere because you couldn't, at the speed you had then, you couldn't stream it online. Like most people didn't have. Even the bandwidth on cable around them wasn't really up to like a lot of video streaming services and stuff like that. It just wasn't up to speed yet. It would eventually get there, but it took till right around 2000, right, to start really getting. And even then, people laughed at Microsoft when they included it to begin with because they didn't think they'd be able to get it and have it stable the way they did. They didn't think they'd get the reception on it.
That's why nobody was really looking at it
yet.
Right.
I've always had broadband. I've never had dial-up. All my friends had dial-up.
Oh, dude, I had dial-up through college.
I know. Back then, that's all you had.
I had dial-up through college, man. I paid for my own dedicated phone line because I was in the middle of nowhere, and I wanted to be able to use the internet when I wanted to.
And cutting you off when you were.
That's right. So I bought my own dedicated phone line, and had to put a house and paid my own bill on it, so I could use the internet when I wanted to, and I didn't have to get kicked up by somebody picking up the phone. For those of you that don't know dial-up, that's how that stuff worked, man. It was the dark ages.
What was that signal?
And there goes like 30 viewers.
You want to talk about
meeting everybody.
Dark ages. When I had my Atari computer, my first modem was the one you put the handset down on.
What's up, Omega?
Oh, you had.
I remember that one. I remember seeing one of those. Those were early 80s.
It was a 300 baud acoustic modem. It was literally
the first one I saw was 1200 baud. No, because we got into PCs late. It was like 84, 85 when Mom first got like an actual PC. So it was later.
It was the one you saw in War Games that Matthew Broderick put his phone down on. That is the one that I used to have.
I'm sorry. When I think War Games, I think that 10.5-inch floppy disk that held like kilobytes.
Right.
I had the floppy disk. Yeah, I did.
I had the 5 1/4. I didn't have the.
Oh my God!
I didn't have
such a thing.
How many of us got our floppy disk stuck in the drive and you had to try to figure a way to get it out before
you just rip it out and hope you didn't break the drive?
Dude, I was fortunate that I started with like the 5 1/4s, and then they went to 3.
Oh, you started with the turn-in drive,
which were like a godsend.
Yeah.
You started with the hard spinners then. You started off with the hard spinner version with the silver bottom. disk, the hard disk.
Oh well, no, that was after I had already been using the 5.5s for a while.
Yeah,
Oh,
the 5
But I never saw
were,
I never saw the 10-inch ones except for out of war games, because I remember seeing him put that in there and being like, "Oh my god!"
Yes. Is your floppy disk innuendo?
Is your floppy disk innuendo?
Oh my goodness!
Now you're making me think of the big giant video disc CD players. Stop
That's what she said.
She said, "Oh, it's a little floppy." Hey, you woke it up.
I went there.
I'm sorry.
That's on me. That's on me.
That's on you. That one's on you. You know what? Maybe I'll take the blame for Starfield. You can have this one.
Oh Lord, why did I come here? I should have just stayed in the chat.
I don't know why anybody hangs out with me, man. You guys just show up, and I'm like, all right, it's your funeral.
I'm just thinking. All I could think of is, why do we have X on?
The Star Trek is life, and you can't handle it.
I still got to get Paramount Plus, but that's a conversation for another day.
I have Paramount Plus.
Paramount. I need to. It looks like a fun service for me. In particular,
oh, it's awesome, dude. Paramount Plus is so good, dude.
But
it's the only service I still keep. Everything else I got rid of.
I've still got like too many of them right now. Like, no. Again, another story for another time.
Yep.
But the reason realistically, video games didn't need to be this hard when they first started out, right? They were mostly for high score in the Atari era and the arcade era. And then they started making them really hard because, well, video rental stores, right? They were made intentionally overly hard, specifically to keep you from beating it in 3 days. Because most of those games, if you go back and you look at like speed runs and times on these, even the long ones like Metroid, which is an amazing game for what it did, but pales in comparison to its successor, can be beaten in like less than an hour. I think some people can beat that in 16 minutes, which seems ridiculous to me. I think
you see how fast they got
30
through Mario?
to 40 minutes. Do what?
You see how fast they got through Mario?
Oh god, that's like 5 minutes or less.
Seriously, they can beat it the whole thing in 5 minutes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think they use the warp pipes to do it in 5 minutes, but yeah, they can do it in 5 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, people beat Ninja Gaiden, the original Ninja Gaiden, in like less than 12 minutes.
That one I can't figure out.
No, that one I do not understand.
How do you do that?
You guys should look up my buddy Thumbros. He does it.
Oh no,
all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not using cheats or anything like that. That's just knowing how to flow through the game. That's how fast these games. Now, keep in mind, these 12-minute games, these 5-minute games we're talking about, we spent 20, 30 hours playing.
To
beat them the first time. And that's assuming we beat them the first time at all.
Right.
Because a lot of these, most of us never beat, even if we owned them.
There's a lot of games I haven't beat.
We were just happy to get to the end of it. If we did beat it, we didn't care after that.
Yep, absolutely. And then a lot of that started to go away as games became a lot of it was intentional as it started to go away because they wanted to make the hobby more inclusive. They were starting to hit a larger audience. And they didn't want the games to be that hard because they were already getting your money. They were going direct to console. They weren't doing rentals and things like that. So the games could get longer naturally without such a punishing progression.
So they can charge you a late charge or you can re-rent it.
Right. Because most of the time the games were going to be 20 hours, 15 hours, if you're fairly quick at it, right? Most of these games didn't have anything super quick that you could go through. They didn't have any of the speed runs like you'd have on, like, I want to say Breath of the Wild. They beat that in like 3 hours or less. It's probably down to like an hour and a half or less now. Tears of the Kingdom got beaten like an hour, I think.
Yeah. I challenged myself to beat the original Tomb Raider, and I beat it in like 2 hours. But the first time I played it, it took me over a month to play to figure that game out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But once you know it, I mean, you can walk through it. It'll take you multiple times to try to do this thing, but you know, it's a challenge that I accepted for myself, you know.
Yeah, and Matthew said people always seem to find a way. And
who has that
Redbox still a thing? I think Redbox is still a thing in some areas.
Yes. Redbox
most people
still
don't use it much, but there's still a lot of people there that are in areas that don't have really good internet. And Redbox is still their main way of being able to grab and consume like video media.
Like in the rural areas,
yeah, because there's still like, especially in the United States, there are still areas that are on like DSL or dial-up, like no joke.
Yeah. But by the time you download that rental game
or something like that, but yeah,
by the time you download that rental game to your system, you know, in a really slow internet area, by that time, you know, you're gonna have to turn it back in a couple of days because a lot of people are still that slow.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
sad.
Now I don't know if Redbox. Well, it was GameFly that was really doing the online rentals for a while.
GameFly still does it.
I don't know if Redbox ever did. I never saw them in a Redbox. I always saw movies.
They took the rentals out of rental games out of Redbox and just went back to movies because of digital. Digital was killing them. You know, people download the game digitally.
GameFly is still going strong.
Yeah.
I think they sell used games and everything now too. Some of their used ones. Matthew says they still have a couple of 7-Elevens Redbox rental machines in the front. So yeah, that's absolutely a thing. And Born Distracted says he remembers when cable modems were like $60 a month. That is crazy.
And they charge you for over data, and it was expensive.
Oh, they're charging me for over data this month. We the game that shall not be named ate a lot of my data rate. And I've been doing more streaming, and I've been uploading to more different platforms, so that's been kind of part of it too. So there's been a lot of data usage in my house. It's above normal. Like
I got unlimited. I don't have a problem, and I got like everybody.
I don't think Comcast does unlimited here that I'm aware of.
Why don't they?
In theory, I have a cap scepter, but they're just charging me extra. But I'm so overpaid them that they owe me money anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
It's worth that paying the extra $15 to $20 for the unlimited, dude.
Yeah, I may talk to them and see if I can get unlimited because I think the most they can charge me is an extra $100 a month for overages, right? And I'm like, well, that's pricey, kind of sucks, but
yeah, it does.
I've always had unlimited. I would pay the extra because I knew how much data I used all the time. At
honestly,
first,
we normally didn't hit the data cap until the very end of the month, until like this month. This has been the first month we've really kind of blown through that data cap really bad.
Well, you know why?
I was kind of surprised to see it.
Charging so they take up so much of your data that's gonna mess up your data cap.
Which one?
All the time. Every game you download nowadays.
Oh yeah.
They're all hundreds of gigs.
Yeah. And there's been a couple of big ones I downloaded this month. Some on multiple systems. So that was kind of a thing.
Times have changed.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to. I can't really argue with it. I mean, it was legit. The kind of data that we spent, right? So, okay, where were we? I'm lost now. I got lost.
We were.
Read your topic again. It says
we were talking about rental games at one point, and then we went into data caps, which is probably my fault. Yeah, that one's my fault.
A lot of people don't talk about data caps though, so you know it's a good thing to bring up real quick.
Yeah. And Mike's just starting to sing again.
Hey, real quick, just imagine your data caps like they were back then when they didn't have unlimited data in the early 2000s. How much your bill was at the end of the month every time because of that. Online gaming made that data go up big time.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. And streaming services and everything else kind of drove it that way too. I mean,
thanks Netflix.
It's kind of a transition everybody's going through. You're seeing it in consoles now too. To derail the topic even further to, stuff like, what Xbox
Oh,
is
that's a hot topic
mid-gen
every day.
refresh, which is going to
Every
be
day.
like the Series X, but it's going to be fully digital, right?
That don't bother me. They were going that way
It's
anyway.
a transition they did in PC starting around the time that Steam came out, right? Once
Yeah.
Steam started hitting the market, more people started buying it like digitally.
I gotta
And
get
then it
me
got
an-
to the point that if you got a
Mhm.
box in the store, it didn't have discs in it anymore. It had a
That's
code for you to
code.
download it.
And a lot of them are like that now.
Yeah. And you're seeing
Nah,
a lot
but
more of
you
that
can
with
still
CDs and
find-
stuff like that now. It's just a key to access your game. You basically download it.
Yeah, you can still have a disc with PC. I mean, you can still have it. I got because some of the old PC games I've got to get me an external drive now, so I can
Well,
load
that's
my
the other
disc up
thing.
and play it.
Most modern machines don't have a CD drive unless you order it special.
I didn't
Yeah,
put
they
one in
don't-
my new build.
Yeah, they don't cost
I
that
didn't-
much
I
though.
didn't put one in my new build because I'm not gonna watch Blu-rays on my PC. I don't have it hooked up in a living room where I can use it that way either.
hmm
And everything that I have is generally through Steam or BattleNet or something like that, right? Or
Yeah,
Game
but
Pass,
I got
'cause they
older
use Game
games
Pass
I
too.
want to load up. I got older games I want to put on my PC, but I can't because this new PC, the pre-built, doesn't come with a disk drive.
Right.
So I gotta get another disk drive external to be able to play it.
So
So
CD games are retro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, for sure,
They are.
and they kind of have a worse shelf life than cards do.
Yeah,
They
that's
do.
like
Disc rot's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you've seen it on some of yours, right? From like the Saturn stuff like that.
Well,
you'd rather
I've had
emulate
I've
a lot of your stuff from Sega CD and Saturn, so you don't worry about
Not Saturn.
ruining the disc.
Not Saturn, Sega CD and 32X. Saturn I can still play. That stuff still
Oh
works.
yeah, and Saturn still looks good.
Well, right, but what he's talking about is disc rot, which thankfully my Saturn games have. I had one or two Saturn games that I had to clean, but they haven't had disc rot. So.
No, my Saturn games are clean. I don't have no disc rot on them at all.
And Hemp popped in on Rumble, and he said CD rot. He said CDs rot, and it's sad. He's got a few of them that he's had it happen to.
Yeah, and that's
some of them, like he said his PlayStation and his Dreamcast ones. Some of them are the ones you don't expect. Even some of the newer ones can have it happen.
And that's
my
why
3DO discs are still fine. My 3DO game, discs they're still fine.
That's a
I
whole
just keep
era.
them in a climate. I just keep them in a.
We need to do like a
climate.
90. We need to do like a 90s gaming scene. Podcast.
That'd be
that
awesome.
Was such a
God, that would be a 4-hour show.
Crazy time in gaming.
That would be a 4-hour show. Oh my God! And I got the gold. I got the gold star 3DO. I got the gold star one.
We'll do that stuff on the weekend, man. If you can get 30, 40 people in here hanging out in chat and engaging in conversation,
Christ.
I'm okay
You'll
with
be
that.
Talking 7 hours, dude.
You know what?
I'll start early.
Figure it out. I'll figure it out. It's
early.
like cart for life, and that's why I've been mostly physical
Red Bulls
with the Switch,
that day,
except for when there's not an option.
Right.
That's true.
Because the Switch is one of the last kind of bastions that we have from that kind of throwback
cartridges,
period, right?
yeah.
And carts, and don't get me wrong, carts have their issues, right? The connectors get dirty and stuff like that. People used to pull on them all the time. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. And honestly, I found out later in life that was like the worst way to clean them because it actually erodes the connectors. You're supposed to use like a cotton swab and alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
Clean them.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do
you
what
gotta
we're
drain
doing.
it. Then once you dip it in the alcohol, you have to drain the alcohol. Mush it down a little bit, then go over it very slowly on both sides of the copper.
Yes, on both sides of the copper, but that wouldn't help you if your N64 tray wouldn't stay down.
What you talking about, Willis?
Your NES tray wouldn't stay down. I don't know why I said N64. I don't know why I was smoking. That was a top loader.
That was a top loader.
Yeah, but you still had to push it down.
Well, I mean, you have to push the cart down, but you don't have to I knew there were people that would literally have to put something in the bay of their NES in order to keep the tray down so they could play the game. Because it would stay down on its own.
I remember that. That's where you went outside, got you a piece of wood, and opened up the top and just plug it in real quick. You remember that?
It's a whole. This would be a whole new use for the homework first.
Oh, there you go.
Dreadpool said it would be a 4-hour show.
A useful thing for the homework first.
Hemp said he just takes it apart and fixes the spring.
There you go. That'll work too.
I think Dreadpool wants to be on the show when you do it. He's like, that's gonna be a 4-hour show. I think he's ready.
Dreadpool's like, Nick's on that good stuff. You know, every now and then you have to enjoy yourself, sir. That's all I had to say.
Every now and again.
Every now and again. And we do that every other Monday here.
Yes.
Ting, shameless plug.
There ain't nothing wrong with plugging.
No.
There's nothing wrong with plugging.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of your guys' examples? I mentioned one or two examples of ones that I thought of. And you guys always, I know at least you, Mike, you're big into Sega. So you probably got a couple examples from there. I always scream it in my head, but I try not to scream it into the mic.
Well, I mean, a lot of the arcade stuff, it wasn't as hard as, I mean, you know, we talk about difficulty coming forward, you know, Ninja Gaiden, things like that.
Maybe Eugene.
Sega didn't have a ton of those kind of games that rolled forward difficulty wise. So I'm trying to think of an example of that.
Gradius.
That wasn't that hard. And it did, and I mean there aren't many
Those schmucks were hard.
They were, but there aren't many out there today.
There's more than you think, man. If you go on Steam, there's a lot of them.
There are, but they're smaller indie. Like there aren't any. Like I have them on the Xbox too, Project Root and things like that.
Life Force isn't a huge game, dude. That thing's like less than 200 kilobytes.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is
it's hard. I mean, by shoot 'em up standards, most people would call it fair.
But you know, when we were talking about it earlier, we were talking about the influence of games like Ninja Gaiden on the Souls series, right? And those Souls games. The Souls games are far and away more popular and more well known than shmups. Like if I said shmup, half the people, you know, watching us on Rumble right now would not know what I'm talking about. So that's
they might know what Nier Automata is, and it's got shoot 'em up sections in it.
I call them side-scrolling shooters. I do not call them shmups. That's always been the name for it, and that's always going to be.
But they're not always side-scrolling. Sometimes they're vertical.
Yeah, they're vertical too.
Yeah, Radiant Silvergun is vertical, but that's still.
And they're not always
inverted.
And they're not always space games either.
And they're not always 2D because I mean you could do some of them more.
Shmup,
Star Fox is almost in the same kind of vein. It's just 3D. So is Panzer Dragoon.
I mean, we all know shmup stands for shoot 'em up. So
no, not all of us. A lot of people don't know that.
And no, we're not defining shmup tonight. I see you, chat.
Thunder Force 5, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. Bring back Thunder Force. Okay, I'm done.
For those of you guys new to this podcast on Rumble, there was a going thing where we would talk about a genre, and then we would spend 40 minutes redefining the genre that's already been clearly defined.
Yes.
So my YouTube chat loves to derail us down that rabbit hole.
Yes. No.
It's one of their favorite things to do. Hey, Mark, good to see you in chat, man. Thanks for popping by.
Hello, brother Mark. Nick, any Batman chats? No, I again, no, Halo is not a shmup. Halo is a first-person shooter.
Yes, it is.
I define a shmup.
Well, there's another one that you can talk about, too, because those go way, way back.
Yes.
I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole on that one all the way back to, like, the 1970s.
Oh, we can.
And, they go back that far.
Oh, we absolutely can. But my, my point is that I didn't see a whole lot of
Sir X-Men Bale. What happened to him?
I guess he didn't like the fact that shmup means shoot 'em up.
I guess. I guess maybe he got shmupped.
Maybe he got shmupped. He'll be back. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a game series that I don't know. Like I said, they concentrated more on the arcade experience, so difficulty was not as prevalent in those kind of games, like Ninja Gaiden on the NES. A lot of I would argue that the NES was better at bringing forward difficulty than Sega was. Sega was for that market.
Yeah, I guess I can say it because Sega really did, and I've covered this a few times in a few videos, not all of which are on Rumble yet. I want to get them out of here about their hyper focus on the arcade and how it kind of led to their detriment later on down the road, right? Because it hurt them early in the 8-bit era because they wouldn't make certain deals with certain companies because they considered them competition in the arcade. It hurt them again right around the Saturn because they were trying to focus on making their console ready for their next arcade board, right?
Right.
I think it was like the Arcade 2 or something like that board that they called it. System 2.
System 2, System 3,
yeah,
and then
System 2 and System 3 board. They wanted to future-proof so they could translate those closer to 1-to-1.
Right.
And it really put them on the back foot when they were expecting more arcade-like games and more 2D games, and the PlayStation hit. And then N64 hit, and everybody flipped to go to 3D, and they had to kind of adjust and add another chip to be able to handle that. And the two chips didn't always play as well together as they would like to try to get the performance that they needed in that arena, right?
Right. But we all know that the Saturn was more powerful than the PlayStation. We know this, though, but a lot of people don't because it was the only one.
Well, more powerful, yes, but less focused, which hurt it.
Well,
they didn't have enough games.
It was stronger in 2D. But 2D was getting left behind, and that was the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was designed as a 2D system first with 3D added in after.
PlayStation was way, way more powerful as a 3D system. It just was.
Yeah, but when you look at fighting games, the Saturn had the PlayStation beat when you had comparable fighting games. I mean, it just
because
blew it out the water.
Because those were all pretty much 2D at the time with the exception of Virtual Fighter.
Right.
Which was a Sega game already, so they already knew how to program that.
Yeah, but X-Men versus Street Fighter was totally different.
I mean, that's a 2D Capcom game. Capcom wasn't even, and still doesn't to this day, really focus on 3D fighters. They have a few of them. If you look at
they
the
don't do it no
EX
more.
Series, but they don't.
I love Street Fighter X3. That game was phenomenal.
But again, you're talking about 2D. We're talking about there's 3D. The 3D is where everybody was going. That's why the Saturn was packed with Virtua Fighter. That's because the PlayStation was packed with Battle Arena Toshinden, which was a great looking fighter, and
a lot of Street Fighters because they were just pretty much 2D. That's what the system can handle.
That's where Capcom excels the most at. Honestly, is in that. And I mean, they do it almost better than anybody else. The closest it comes to them is NetherRealm.
Just
like the Saturn. The Saturn had more processing power.
Born said didn't the Saturn have a better Batman game? I think you're trying to get us on Batman again.
Oh my God, really?
It had Batman Forever, so the answer is no.
But I think if you're looking for examples, one of the ones that came to mind for me would have been stuff like Space Harrier. Because I would think that would be kind of an influence for things like Star Fox and Panzer Dragoon and stuff like that. Because it came up before those, right?
Afterburner, Space Harrier.
A lot of the early racing games, Sega was really big on pushing those, right?
Virtual racing with
you had your Outrun, you had your
Virtual racing.
Yep.
Yeah, you had your Virtual Racer.
Yep.
Your Daytona.
Yeah,
Daytona was a big one, and that one was a multi-cabinet too. Everybody would have their own steering wheel, their own screen. They'd be networked together to race against each other.
I think
those are influences that I would think would come more from Sega that have kind of moved forward as we've gone more into our. I have my driving wheel and set up at home, but I'm still racing with people online and like Gran Turismo and Forza.
Got my wheel right here.
Yeah, your project doesn't exist anymore. Project Gotham Racing.
We don't want to talk about that. We don't. That's a hurt subject. Please don't talk about PGR.
It's a sensitive subject for Sir X-Man.
But one game that made the Saturn stand out, that changed the way other companies started doing 3D games with, a little kiddie feature, was Nights into Dreams. That game was a standout. It's on the Xbox now.
Yeah, it was on the Wii as well. They had a version for the Wii.
Yeah, they had a Wii.
It came out later, but that was the one that just everybody. A lot of people were upset that they didn't have a Saturn when they found out Nights into Dreams and they saw it. They was like,
that was a big stand.
Oh, and that came with.
Was mentioning.
I still got the controller.
Yeah, I
think Imp was mentioning Mega Man Legends, which I never really dove too deep into. I don't know if any of you guys did. Now, if we had Matthews on here, he could talk all day about Mega Man Legends.
Matthew was the first guy to ditch us.
Yeah, drag him back in on holidays.
Back
in on holidays.
Today was a holiday. Yeah, I don't see him.
Well, I don't think he's counting Jewish holidays. Sorry, man.
That's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
technically the holiday's
don't look
over,
at me.
So.
He didn't say, "Hey, I'm going to come on," because it's one of Mike's holidays. He didn't say anything to me.
Technically, the holiday ended at sundown. So
it did. Yes, which is why you can be on with us tonight. Otherwise, you'd still be unplugged.
Otherwise, right.
Yeah, and we probably would have rescheduled this for another night because I didn't know Sir X-Man was going to come on, so it would have been just me going. Hi.
I didn't even know I was going to come on. I just said,
you just popped on and said I want to be on, and I'm like, cool.
You saw it in the chat. I'm here hanging out. Retro was my thing, man. Everybody gets on me. Why do you keep
went there, not me?
All my friends on Xbox be like, why do I keep playing those old games? Because I like them.
And Matthews is correct. We did decide at one point that I think Pac-Man was an open world game.
Yeah, okay. If that's what you think, that's what you
really
think.
Weird. I'd be lying if I said they didn't get really weird.
That's like saying Tron Arcade was an open world game. Come on.
All right, I'm gonna go out on this limb.
Uh-oh.
The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Sega Genesis.
That game was
okay.
Fun.
That was hard as crap.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
Could have influenced games like Cuphead. There you go. I made the connection.
Yeah. I would also argue that like Contra could do that too.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson Moonwalker on the Sega Genesis. That game was hard.
Are we going Dance Dance Revolution with that? Where are you going with that one?
No, no, but actually that was a platformer where you went side to side, the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game.
Yeah, that was a platform.
Oh yeah, I know. It was like a side-scrolling game. I that's such a confusing game.
I said that was a good game.
It was awesome though.
Yeah, it was a good game.
I never got too deep into it. It was just too confusing. Like I was not. I had trouble driving and just jiving with that game. But him agrees with you. It was hard to play.
Moonwalker's just like Resident Evil remake. There you go.
Oh God, I've got to get like Ninja Chat working somewhere so I can like have stuff like this pop up. That's too funny.
That is
Moonwalker is just like Resident Evil remake. I don't know where we're going with that. With that one.
Don't give them no ideas because they might try to remake that game. Just let it go. I don't think
they're gonna remake. Moonwalker. I don't think they're going there, man. I really don't.
But it really
I don't think Michael Jackson's estate would let it happen at this point.
No.
It would be way too expensive to get that license again.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't happen.
I mean, they even had the Michael Jackson zombie pulled out of Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh my God, are you
Did they?
serious?
Yeah, it used to be a Michael Jackson zombie that would come out and do like Thriller, and then you changed it like a Disco Stew kind of ripoff. It became like a 70s disco guy because they didn't want it in the game.
Look, Saturday Night Fever, the game. Oh Lord. John Travolta doing this.
I don't know where we went with this, folks.
I'm not sure where this at.
We're an hour in, and we have jumped that shark like 30 times. Resident Evil.
I'm just
8
adding to your changes, you know. You guys keep changing it up. I'm just going with the flow. Don't blame it on me.
I feel like it's your fault, though.
Yeah, you've kind of been the flow.
Yeah, you kind of been the flow.
It's always my fault. I'm so used to it.
Yeah, we've all gotten used to this.
I wish I could do a poll because I would totally put up a poll. Is it his fault?
Yeah,
the answer of course,
is it Mike's fault? Is it Nick's fault? Or is it Sir X-Man's fault?
It's Sir X-Man's fault. We know this.
Chuck's like, did someone say Pac-Man? You know, it's kind of like our Field of Dreams. Like you say Pac-Man, he will come.
Yeah, you're in the wrong chat, by the way, Chuck. Just letting you know.
He's been all over the place lately. He's been on.
He has, man.
Rumble, he's been on YouTube. He's been all over the place, man. It's been crazy.
Dude, yeah. Every time I turn around, he's streaming.
Well, yeah, there was at one point where I think he did stream like every 10 minutes for like 10 minutes. It was bizarre.
He's like, all right, I think I'm going to call this stream. And then 5 minutes later, hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And then he'll send him a super chat to keep going.
All right, what did Hemp send?
I don't know. I'm going to the link. I'm afraid to put it on screen right now.
Yeah.
Do I need to launch?
Hopefully,
the other stream?
Yeah.
It's not pulling anything up for me though. I don't know. Yeah. Can you get it to pull up?
See, look, he says I got to get going. I'm going to stream soon.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
It's 1 a.m. Chuck streaming.
Huh? Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be, sir?
Right.
Why
in television after dark.
At some point, it's just you got to call it daylight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even I know when I'm streaming.
No, Tiger handheld Resident Evil 2. They did not. Oh, what? Please tell me they did not, Hemp. Oh,
what?
No.
No, hang on. I'm looking. Hang on. This has to be a mistake.
Someone made a mistake.
No, it's not.
Oh, God. Someone made a terrible, terrible decision. Oh, no. They didn't.
Oh, yes, they did.
Oh, no.
If that's the case, I might as well get
1998. Hang on. It's a thing.
Oh, no.
Hang on. I'm throwing it in a private chat. It's a thing.
It's a thing, isn't it? And I might be getting a phone call from work because, of course, I am back at work. Got it.
Oh.
For those of you guys that don't know, I often have to do work in the evenings. I can't zoom in on this here, but yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can find an
evil. Oh my goodness.
Yep. Here's the game.com. You know what? Hold on.
Couldn't even play it. He ended up setting it on fire. Sir, that sounds like the best use of this particular device. I'm not.
Hold on. All I did was type in game.com into YouTube and it immediately came up with Resident Evil 2. This is something.
It's a thing. I don't know what kind of thing it is. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to respond to somebody who sent me something from work.
Oh, that's the game.com version. That's not the Tiger. Hold on. Because that's one, and which Tiger electronic, but that's not this thing. Hang on. Tiger 99X.
I apologize for that, guys.
No, don't
Work
worry.
does not stop just because I went home. That's sort of my job.
Know that feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of my job. Oh no, we have video. Oh, we have.
We gotta make our money,
God,
right?
we have 30 minutes of video. Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me change
There's
my.
two
Oh
of them.
wow.
There's two.
Let me change my presentation here because I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong application window.
Buy that.
Is that not going to share? Whoa! What just happened? Okay, there we go. All right, cool.
All right, shout out to Hemp.
Hemp. I don't know what to say. What's up, Silver? Good to see you, man. We are going down. Well, we got down a few rabbit holes, but Hemp has us down on one where apparently RE2 was on a Tiger handheld, and I'm not really sure where to go with this.
This is
this the Tiger handheld version?
I remember that.
This is the Game.com version.
Game.com version, but with Game.com was made by Tiger.
Well, that's true.
This is this
you
is
feel my pain now. It's true, Hemp. I feel your pain, sir.
I mean,
did you have the actual Tiger Electronics one, or did you have the Gamecom one though? And no, we took nothing from this era, and well, maybe we did because there were smartphones. So
no, this is nothing like a smartphone game.
No, it's not. But I mean, we're talking about how things were influenced by things in the past, and well, here's the GameCon, which is an anomaly of consoles I have yet to go into. I know a few people loved it.
That actually
this thing was weird.
That looks good, though.
I mean, for that day and what it was, that's not bad.
That's not. Now, watch the second one.
Oh, okay. Here's the one we need right here. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick here because it pulled it up in a new window. Let me see if it pulls it up in the same place. It does. Okay, here's the handheld Tiger Electronics. Oh my
99.
God, I can't even right now with this thing.
Yeah.
This looks like somebody put RE2 on a Game Boy. Which is a bad idea. Please don't do that.
That looks like somebody put Resident Evil 2 on a Dreamcast VMU.
Dude, it's a Tiger game. Tiger games used to be like that. Remember those Tiger little handheld game things?
Yeah.
They were each individual games. That's just one of them.
Okay, Hemp said he got this when the Nokia was popular.
Okay.
I love
it's rare,
my
and he kind of wishes he didn't burn it.
Hey, Hemp knows what I'm talking about with the VMU.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about with the VMU as well. The Tiger games were always Garbo, man, but we all had them. Everybody had one.
We all had them.
It was right up.
Looks awesome.
Everybody had one.
Had what?
A Tiger the Tiger handheld game.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah, I had one. I can't remember the game I had though, but I did have a Tiger game.
Oh, of course you did. Like, I mean, if you were in a certain age range, somebody gifted you one for a birthday because they knew you were into video games, and they didn't know what video games really were. They saw this; it was cheap, and they bought it. That's how most of us got them. I mean, there was a couple that I saw that I wanted that my parents bought for me because they were cheap. They're usually 10, 12.
Hector says he wants one now.
You're gonna be mad at me, but I've never owned a single Game Boy.
Yeah, Matthew says that's better than he actually expected. And I'll agree. The Gamecom version and honestly, that handheld version is seriously better than I ever would have given it credit for. Because I expected the old school Tiger handheld.
And Hemp set it on fire.
He did.
Our hands are too big for that.
See, now Hemp has a whole other topic we could get into. Cursed items. Cursed gaming items.
He said you have to play it.
You have to play it, though. Yeah, I could totally see that. I could totally see it being an entire struggle to play.
Yeah.
Just like the worst.
Now y'all got me thinking about the Pac-Man arcade, little arcade thing. They had
Oh,
Pac-Man.
I
You know
had
what?
that.
Those were a big.
We
I
all
had
had
one of
now.
those. I
We
had one.
all
I
had
had that.
that.
I had Galaxian, and I
Yeah,
had
they did.
Frogger. I remember those little
Yeah,
tabletops.
those
I
were
had
a
a few of
big
them,
thing.
and I can't remember what I had. I think I had one that had Defender on it. I'm not like, this is nothing like the real game.
You said good luck.
Him
The
says
reaction
good luck.
times are
The
worse
reaction
than-
times are worse than Superman 64.
Oh wow!
Ouch.
Dang.
I don't know.
Ouch.
See, I'm in a toss-up. I don't know if Drake the Vampire or Superman 64 are the worst. Those are the two that I still
I
can't
never
figure out.
picked up the Superman game. I've seen footage of it. And every time I see footage of it, I just go, why?
Why?
Like
Did you ever?
could have
did
they
you
could
ever-
have done something really cool with that.
Did
So
you
the,
ever
the
pick
why
up
question
Drake
always
the
comes to my
Vampire?
mind.
And
Did you
yet,
ever pick up Drake the Vampire on
I don't know if
on
I've
the
even
OG
heard of that one, so
Xbox?
I can't really do a
are
good
you talking
comparison
about
from
Drake
there.
in the '99?
I guess whichever one it was, but I bought it and it was one of the worst games. And I played the Superman one.
Yeah,
Two of the worst games, and I still can't figure out which one.
I
was the
remember
worst.
it was Drake
But
in the
they-
99 Dragons.
And they said Drake was one. It was worse than Superman
Dude,
in 64.
Majesco put out some horrible games.
Yeah.
That was the other topic that I almost brought in tonight, depending on how things went, was like, defunct game developers that you'd like to see
Oh,
come
there's
back.
a lot of them.
There's a bunch of them, and like one that's not even dead that I want to come back from the dead, which is Konami.
There you go. Scepter said it was the Coleco tabletop game. Those were the ones.
I never saw the Coleco ones. I saw a lot of the
No, those
Atari
were
ones.
the Coleco ones were the
Oh, those were those handhelds. That's
Yes.
right. They were the ones who manufactured them. I forgot about that.
Yep.
That's right. I kept thinking Atari manufactured those, but it was ColecoVision.
No, it's Coleco.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had
Yeah, and John's like, that one rules.
yeah.
There's Oak City. How's
There's
it going,
Oak
man?
City. What's up, man? Here,
Yeah,
this is
Drake
the
and
one
the
I had.
99 Dragons is terrible.
It is garbage.
And apparently he's big on Majesco. That's his bread and butter.
I can't. Not Majesco. I covered Majesco for a long
His
time.
Mike's like, nope, I can't go there.
Nope.
Nope, hard no.
Nope. I had a good relationship with Majesco, but secretly, I would walk out of my press press meetings with them at E3, and would just go back and just walk out shaking my head, going, "Man, they're just not a good publisher." Great.
Well, most people say the same thing about LGN, and I'm kind of expecting Captain Algebra to come in and slap me.
Captain,
because he loves LGN. Like he's a big defender of LGN. And admittedly, if you go back and you look at a lot of those games, they're a lot more playable than people make them out to be. Are they really good games? Not so much.
Some of the LJN Simpsons games were pretty good.
Yep, and they had Maximum Carnage. That one was good.
That one
Genras is not as bad as it looks like. It's just confusing. And if you have a really big run of bad luck, like a certain somebody who streams on the regular and tries to beat Jaws on stream has, then you have it's one of the few times I've actually seen him get really angry. Like every
Back
time
in
I
the
see him
day-
play Jaws.
Back in the day, I was a fan of Psygnosis. I mean, all Psygnosis' games were beautiful.
Those
From
were
the
good
Silver
games.
S1.
Surfer LJN, I guess it was, wasn't it? Because they were doing
Silver-
most of the Marvel games on the NES back then.
Yeah,
keeps
they had
hard.
they did Karate Kid, Town and Country.
I remember
Surf.
Silver Surfer. It went like this. It went
Let's
just
see.
like this across the screen. I remember that game.
That game got super hard.
What
Yeah,
game?
apparently, name your favorite LGN game. I haven't dipped too deep into them.
I gotta remember what LGN made.
Well, I know they made a bunch of movie tie-in games.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I
they-
believe the Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe was them, but that was done by Rare. It was made by Rare and published by them. They had Jaws. They had Maximum Carnage.
They had
They
the
had
WWF
Beetlejuice.
license.
Wasn't Fester's Quest them?
Fester's Quest was them. Yes.
Or Wolverine on the NES was them.
Yep. They did have Spider-Man.
An X-Men on the NES. That was them as well.
Mm-hmm. Friday the 13th.
I thought Friday the 13th was somebody else.
No, that was LJN. It was
it LJN?
It was LJ. It was developed by Atlas, but it was published by LJN.
Yeah, Jaws. I thought we mentioned Jaws, but Jaws.
We did mention Jaws.
And Silver Surfer is apparently them. And Silver Surfer is actually pretty well regarded overall.
And they did a bunch of WWF games too.
Yep.
Karate Kid, Nightmare on Elm Street, Punisher, Bill and Ted.
Oh God!
I love that game. I love that game.
Really? Because I've seen people try to play that game, and it looks painful.
I was a Bill and Ted fan. I couldn't help it but have to happen.
I like Bill and Ted too, but that game looked painful.
They did NFL Quarterback Club.
NFL Quarterback Club, really?
Yep.
And apparently, Jaws is the answer to Hemp's question of what's your favorite LGN game? And so that's Matthew's answer. And I could see that being a good answer. A lot of people say that was surprisingly fun. And I'll be honest, understanding it better now from having watched people play it, it honestly looks kind of fun. I mean, brutally punishing if you mess up, but
they did the Back to the Future games. They did Friday the 13th, Jaws, Karate Kid, Major League Baseball, NBA.
Okay, so
All-Star
him saying
Challenge.
LGN didn't actually make a RoboCop game because he was talking about them.
No, I don't see that. They did Roger Clemens Baseball, which was decent. They did a few Spider-Man games, Spider-Man and the X-Men in Arcade's Revenge, Maximum Carnage, Return of the Sinister Six. They did the T2 games, Terminator 2 games, Uncanny X-Men, Town and Country, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, here we go. He sent over the list too.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at now.
Oh, they did a bunch of WWF. Well, honestly, I bet you a lot of these WWF games were really well liked.
No,
I remember Royal Rumble. People seem to like Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble was okay, but like Super WrestleMania might have been their best one because that was based on the arcade game. But like Superstars was horrible, Steel Cage Challenge was horrible, and Raw on the 32X and Genesis and SNES was horrible.
Didn't Town and Country Surf Designs have a pretty decent following?
I don't know if it had not the LJN stuff.
The Punisher NES game, I know a couple people played through that and enjoyed that.
Because at that time, Skate or Die was also out, and that was a better game.
Yes. Skate or Die was absolutely a thing around that same time, if not a little bit before. What was LGN's final release?
Their final game was. I just saw that. Hold on.
Is it no, it's not the Steel Cage.
No, their final game was Spirit of Speed 1937 in the year 2000. It was a Dreamcast game.
Wow, they were going until 2000.
Mm-hmm. Well, because they were owned by Acclaim.
Oh, that's another one I kind of miss as Acclaim.
I do.
I don't necessarily miss LGN, but I did like Acclaim. They had a lot of good stuff. They did a lot of good work in the early 90s, in the mid 90s and 2000s, and even before then. Well,
remember they through Iguana Entertainment, they put out Mortal Kombat. They put out a bunch of Midway stuff. They put out NBA Jam. They had, at least on the Xbox, PlayStation 2, they had one of the best baseball games in All-Star Baseball.
I wonder how they got publishing rights for that, because Midway did all the arcade work for a lot of those.
Acclaim also started the Burnout series with Criterion.
They did.
EA took it over.
Yep. And they also did a couple of wrestling games called Legends of Wrestling, which were okay.
So, by the way, those of you guys who are still with us, this is kind of how our show goes. We start on the topic, we kind of dance around the topic, we occasionally hit on the topic, and then we go off the topic by the end of the podcast, and we get derailed by, well, pretty much everybody in chat, which is kind of the point. Like, yes. The point is for us to hang out with you guys and kind of talk retro, and we can occasionally tie it into modern, and it's kind of one of those things.
And they always blame it on me, even when I don't come and visit the show. So
we can't blame it on us. We're here.
Exactly. He can only blame so much on me.
I've seen your shows. I don't be there, but you still will throw it out on me when I'm not there.
Sure. Why not?
I still always think about that last day of Acclaim. Like to this day have seared in my head the day Acclaim shut down. It was it just because of the way it happened. I
remember them for the Turok series because I loved Turok in the N64. That was probably one of my favorite games by them.
Their headquarters was in New York and in the city, and I would go up once a quarter with one of my other editors from NLG, and we'd go up and we
go for it.
And we go.
For those of you guys don't know, Mike used to run a website and do video game journalism, so he likes to regale us all the time of stories.
Oh wow! Okay, never mind. Never mind.
As long as we don't talk about the griddle, Mike's okay.
Oh, now we're gonna go there too.
Oh Lord!
His other favorite topic is his griddle.
I used it twice on Saturday.
See, there we go. There we go.
But nah, thanks to Acclaim made good racing games too, though. A lot of people don't know that. They produced a lot of good racing.
I don't know this. I don't know this. I don't know this Acclaim to which you speak.
Oh God. They made the greatest series before EA made Paradise. Burnout 1 and 2. And then EA took over and they got together and made the greatest racing game that got perfect 10s, Burnout 3 takedowns from almost everybody in the industry. Except for Mike's review. He told me his review. I'm not happy with him.
Which one?
Burnout 3 takedown. I was not happy with you when you told me what your buddy reviewed it.
Hold on, I gotta go look it up.
Riddled.
Oh God. But Burnout 3, to me, will still be the greatest racing game of all time.
Now I need to go and look it up.
Again.
I need to see. I mean, I remember what I gave Tokyo Extreme Racer, but I don't remember anything.
You said your buddy reviewed it, the one that was with you in the group.
All right.
My guess had puppets.
The show could get hijacked by chat guess easily. My guess had puppets.
Yeah, this is welcome to the show. Burnout 3. Hold on, I'm looking.
But speaking of that, old, since you're there, I thought, you might have brought up old controllers compared to new controllers to this day also. Because that's still in that
That's
category.
Actually just kind of more of an evolution thing, right?
Right.
I mean, when you really go back to it, like I kind of went into that a little bit when I was talking about the Steam controller the other day and how that kind of moved forward.
What in the world were you talking about, X?
What, dude? Complete thoughts, please.
Hold on. I'm working on it.
You said one of your you
shut down my heartfelt story about Acclaim. So here.
Oh, did I do that? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, please forgive me.
I'm about to return the favor.
I'm gonna send you some roses.
I'm about to return the favor. Throw this up on the screen there, Nick.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Where's the link?
It should be. I'm sharing.
Okay. All right, here we go. Sorry, I thought you were going to throw the link. Oh no, here we go. He's clearing his throat, folks. Strap in.
Next Level Gaming's official Burnout 3 takedown video game review from September 13th, 2004. Posted by, what's that name there, X?
Mike Mueller.
What's that name?
Mike Mueller.
Okay.
Michael Mueller. I gotta be correct.
I'm sorry. What was my tagline?
Greatest racing game of the year.
What? Nick, would you read that, please?
And it has 5 stars.
What does that say?
The best game in the series? Is it the best racing game this year?
Okay.
And then I'm expecting to see a nod or something by the way he phrased it. I don't know.
All right, hold on, because this was my review. This was my entire review. And what's that score there? X, are you able to count that high?
You're the one that started that 90 to 0 to 100 stuff. It's your fault.
No,
it's your fault.
Oh,
I don't know if I can blame Mike on this one. This was a phase.
yeah. This one. Yes. Let me quote Brother Hemp.
You know, it was better on Xbox, but we had
Look,
them
is this
online.
one of those things where if it's like, you know, an 8 out of 10, it's rubbish. So if it's a 94 out of 100, it's trash. So it needs to be a 97.
Total trash.
I think I got on them because
is that a rating system now?
A lot of other magazines.
Although, okay, so hold on though, because this actually, I'm not right about everything. Hold on, you got to read this last paragraph because now that
Him's
I'm looking
just getting
at
the popcorn. He's like, let's
By
go.
the way, Hemp, do you really remember this? Are you serious? You remember this site? Because if you do, you are about to make me cry. Because I don't know anybody that's a current gamer that ever remembered any site from the 90s to late 2000s.
Oak City has a whole new rating system. It's a
out of
14.
So hold on, because
I don't know what that means, but it's more interesting than a 100 system.
Old things coming to new, not this time. This is hilarious now that I read it back. There seems to always be something magical that happens when Electronic Arts gets their hands on a license.
Oh, it burns. Oh, I can't even read it. My eyes. I can't stand them out enough.
Hold on. And when it comes to supporting a developer in their efforts, I think EA Games has proven themselves once again.
Oh my God!
Ouch.
Might have the mighty EA fallen, right?
Things that have not aged well for 500, Pat.
Good God. They gave Criterion the resources they needed to make Burnout 3 take down the best game in a series, and Criterion responded. Not only is this the best game in a series by leaps and bounds, it was one of the top 4. Now, this is true. One of the top 4 to 5 racing games I think you'll find since the next generation. And by next generation, these generations of consoles hit. This should make you happy, X. This is an arcade racer that
you
all
only gave
others...
it a 94, man. You obviously
you only gave it a 94.
Hold on. This is an arcade racer that all others will be judged against, even games like Outrun 2. Burnout 3 is flat out hot, and a must-have for either console, PlayStation 2 or Xbox. If you have go ahead. I'll let you hear. You are the big guy, the big Xbox. So you read that sentence.
Go with the Xbox version. I love you, Mike Muller.
So, and I think where it came to it was they both had. Now, here's how stuff is aged. The big thing back then.
Welcome to Sir X-Man playing the part of any person who read a video game review ever when their game gets the score he wants. I love you, Mike Mullis.
I could heard it.
And the moment it gets like a point lower or half a point lower, I hate you, Mike Mullis.
Okay, so Scepter, your question was the PS2 480i. Negative, sir. They both had 480p. And that was a rarity for PlayStation 2 games. However,
I ran mad with an optical cord.
I don't think it was the most standard for Xbox either. Did they do a lot of stuff interlace then?
480p was for the OG Xbox. It was and what was not quite standard was 720, and then there were 2 games that were in 1080i.
Yeah, Halo was one of them.
720 wasn't even really standard.
Halo is not in 1080i.
And then it didn't do 1080 really well until it had the elite version with the HDMI.
One of the two games that were 1080i, one of them was Dragon's Lair 3D.
I remember back when EA used to be a respectable company.
Yeah,
they had a ton of highbrow stuff on the Genesis more than sports games.
And they even allowed, and this was why I think this is why I gave the Xbox
your own audio. Right. I remember.
The custom soundtracks was really, really nice. And
yeah, that was that was an Xbox feature. You could rip for those of you guys that don't, there are maybe a little too young. The Xbox had a feature where you could put CDs in and rip the music off of them. And you could make like custom playlists. And a lot of games would allow you to play those games with those playlists. Racing games are notorious for allowing that feature. It's a great feature.
Midnight Club, Project Gotham Racing did. You could do custom music. Mostly all the racing games that came from other developers, you could do that with.
So the other thing that I gave a little bit more credit to the Xbox version was the Xbox version had full Dolby Digital 5.1, and the PlayStation 2 had Dolby Pro Logic 2. That was that was kind of the dip. Everything else,
a lot of that you wouldn't
and it was
necessarily get the
online.
full effect out of unless you had the right sound system, though, from either one of them. Quite frankly,
Yeah, I had receiver because they had a laser optic out on the back of the of the OG Xbox, so I ran it through my 5.1 receiver back then.
Yep. Yeah, Oak City kind of nails it. Spotify, Discord, you get it. That kind of thing.
Well, yeah, you could do that. And you could do that now on the Xbox.
Well, that's what a lot of people do now. I mean, you'll see people do that on streams all the time. They'll have music while they're playing a game.
Yeah, you can even put in a USB card with your music on it.
I just wanted to point that out that I don't know where
Big Block, you could listen to the Carpenters while racing.
I apologize 100%. All right, let's let it go.
Okay.
I'm about to hurt your feelings, though. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit.
When have you known Mike to let it go?
IGN,
it does not happen, sir.
They gave that game a 10. Okay, I'm done. When IGN was good, though.
I will give EA this, though, as far as they have had a couple of good games come out with Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor once they actually kind of fix that thing a little bit. It was kind of broken for a while when it first dropped. Battlefield 4. A lot of people are fans of the Battlefield series, so they've got some stuff out there that's pretty solid, but they also have 2K is more at fault for that now because they're the big driver of sports games at this point.
Yeah, but they're in for the cash cow.
I mean, you really just have to update the name on the game and in the backgrounds and update the roster a little bit. You don't have that change in the engine 9 times out of 10. And you can run on the same engine for a while. You change it like one generation, and you're kind of good.
By the way, you have a fan in Brother Leo up there. He said, "I love X's style. He's cold-blooded." Yeah, yeah. The guy is definitely not a mammal. By the way, he said, "Fun fact." I worked at EA Games for SSX and NHL 2012.
I saw that. That's fantastic.
That's cool.
SSX is my other love.
He said my name is on both. I was really happy about that. Do I have either of those?
You worked on SSX
somewhere. Now is it SSX or is it SSX Tricky? Because there were a couple versions, right?
The original SSX I loved. SSX Tricky was cool. SSX 3 was big.
He said he worked on SSX.
Okay. Which one? The remake of SSX from the 360.
He was talking he was there till 2013 or so.
All right.
That could have been that was still the time for the 360 and PlayStation 3 version of SSX.
He was a team lead on the PS3 and Xbox SSX.
So that was the new
So it was a remake,
SSX, right? That was the new one, yeah. And EA still hasn't brought that back yet. And that game sold tons. I don't know what's wrong with them over there, dude.
They have a Star Wars license, sir.
That don't mean they can't do SSX.
It does when you keep up more Star Wars games.
They keep doing Need for Speed over and over again. And they still ain't brought us Underground 3. Okay?
Okay, Chuck's saying he loved the SSX Tricky, both on Xbox and PlayStation.
I love SSX 1 and SSX.
All right, hang on. We're going to Moby Games because I want to see.
Oh my God!
Oh, no.
This has turned into a whole different show.
Well, hang on.
I was thinking we were going to start wrapping it up here in a little bit.
Hang on, wait.
We can hit this first. We can hit this first.
You know what Moby Games is, right, X?
Vaguely.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank on Moby Games now.
It's game database.
Oh, that's right.
So he worked on the PS3 and Xbox. So I'm going to pull up the PS3 version of SSX from 2012.
I still have it on my hard drive.
And
you still got an original Xbox hard drive?
I got it on the original 360 hard drive, and I've got SSX3 backwards compatible.
That was the dumbest thing Xbox ever did, by the way, separating the hard drive from the console. Talk about innovations that nobody talks about, like Halo and using that hard drive.
Oh, the one you can pull out. The one you can pull out, yeah.
Yeah, the 360 when they didn't made it to where you couldn't use the hard drive the way you could on the Xbox because they didn't want to require people to have the hard drive.
I won't put your last name on the screen. I'm not pulling this up. I'm just looking.
Yeah, because my friend had a 360, but he didn't have SSX, so I would just grab the top of my retractable hard drive on the 360, and I would just plop it in my friends and just sign in over there, and we'd end up playing the game.
I didn't like how they had to design games because of it. And if I'd seen it had your name on it, I wouldn't have put it on the screen anyway. Yeah. I'm not going to accidentally dox somebody. That's
no, it's just a name.
I
you're
know,
right.
I know.
Were you a QA?
I think he's gonna like DM you his name so you can identify it easier.
Yeah, I need to see what, because I'm sure it's here.
Back's like, all I heard is you could pull it out. Jeez.
Okay, all right. So if you were a QA,
I'm not touching that.
I got him. Okay.
I'm not putting it on screen, but
no.
If you want to copy part of it out, or you can get it to me in such a way that we can.
Here, just look at it in a private chat.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to put it on the.
But I got all my SSXs on my Xbox One that I was able to put on there.
Nice.
And I got my Burnout 3 still on my 360 because it was backwards compatible. There's no online though, but I still play it sometimes.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to hit. I would love to give you all the props in the world by putting it on the screen. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah. No, I know. I think I got him. And I know because the two games it matches up the two games he said he worked on.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Yep, that's him. That's very cool.
Y'all need to get him on the show sometime.
There's all kinds. I've been wanting to get people on here that are primarily Rumble anyway.
Oh God, yeah.
We've been struggling to kind of find times, and I'm still trying to make connections and get to know people so they know me. And they're okay coming on the show and that kind of stuff. So it's a process, man. I haven't been on this platform for more than I want to say 3 weeks. I don't even think I've been actively doing anything on this platform for a month yet. So I'm getting to know people. It takes time, man. Especially with me. I'm randomly antisocial. Yeah, Hemp says he didn't mind coming on one day, and absolutely, you're more than welcome to come on here. I'd like to get you on here. I'd like to get Fox or anybody that would. The thing that I've been finding difficult to wrap my brain around in Rumble is I haven't met a lot of people that are big on retro that play modern, or people that are just big on retro period on Rumble. Most people seem to want to be more of a modern streamer, right? So like Lumpy, if I wanted to talk Fortnite or streaming or modern things like that, Lumpy would be great. If I wanted to talk Tarkov or modern streaming or anything like that, Silver Fox would be great. But I don't know how much they dip into the retro scene. So I don't know how much it would even be interested in the conversation we're having. So to find somebody like you that would be into it is fantastic. But yeah, dude, take your time getting your streaming legs and getting used to being in front of it. You don't even really have to be in front of the camera. You could just talk and have an icon up, and that would be fine if that's more comfortable for you.
Like this.
Yeah. People do that all the time.
Yeah, you'll have the jitters your first time, but once you get through it, you'll be able to say whatever you want, and they just got to deal with it.
On Rumble, you can say whatever you want anyway. That's a nice thing.
I say what I want on YouTube too, man. You already know that.
Yeah, and him's he's like, I'm so antisocial, I play MMO solo. Same.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Boomstick still wants me to
do that solo or with one real life friend.
I have that one too. I've got it on the Saturn now. Road and Track, Need for Speed. Okay.
Oh, the original Need for Speed. Oh yes, I love that.
Let's be honest, man. I don't care what you say when you're on this show. And if YouTube doesn't like it, well, this show can live on can live on Rumble, and I'm okay with that. Right now, it dual streams because I have people on YouTube that follow me on YouTube, and this show started on YouTube. And I'm not going to take this show away from people who have been friends of mine and are still friends of mine and will continue to be friends of mine regardless of what platform I'm on. And I will still continue to join their streams on YouTube and support them for as long as I'm doing any of this, because those are the kind of friends that they are. And I talk to them daily, and they're absolutely great people. I think you guys would adore having them on Rumble. They're absolutely phenomenal people, but a lot of you guys just don't want to move. And it's just not their jam.
Okay. That's all right.
I'm gonna do
both. It's honestly why we're.
Yep, Oak's on here. Eugene is amazing. Matthews has some of my favorite content on YouTube. Matter of fact, he has a channel on Rumble, and he's been in that chat. If you guys haven't checked out some of his content and you like some of that and you like some retro stuff, you should check his stuff out. He is fantastic.
All right, which one?
Matthews.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Eugene doesn't have anything on Rumble.
No, I was going to say I'd forgotten that Matthews.
Otherwise, I would say watch all of Eugene's stuff as well because he's
Matthews
like,
just
amazing.
Needs to. Yeah, he needs a couple more videos up.
I know Matthews has put a few things on there. He's had kind of hit or miss on it because honestly, that's one of the things. And I would love to have that conversation with somebody that I feel like uploads need some love. I like where they're going with streaming, but uploads need some love if they want to have that as part of their platform. Now, if they want to just be a streaming platform, then the direction they're going is fantastic. Don't change a thing. Keep working on it. Keep getting it together and keep trucking along. But if you want to have people be able to do uploads and have people to peruse that style of content, it needs some work. It needs some form of discovery and end cards. And, there's a lot of niceties there that would be things to have and a better way of finding it rather than kind of feeling like it's relegated a little bit to the back.
It all comes in time.
Some decent views on these stuff, but it's not as fleshed out, I want to say, as like other platforms are with that. And what were you saying, Sir X-Men? I'm sorry.
I said he'll feel his flow. Me, I'm going to be streaming on 3 things at the same time. Locals, Rumble, and YouTube when I do mine. So I'm going to do 3. I'll be using XSplit. So XSplit can let you have multiple things out at the same time, like 4 streams at the same time. Yeah, that's why I like XSplit.
The issue I had with XSplit was how much of the CPU it chunked up.
I'm sorry, I gotta read this. Panda says, I think people who refuse to be on YouTube are a-holes. Well, this is awkward. Very, very awkward.
As
someone who refuses to be on YouTube as well.
I'm not afraid enough.
Yeah, he was making fun of himself as well as picking on you at the same time, sir.
Okay. Everybody picks on me. It doesn't matter.
Oh, no. He was picking on him. But yeah, we pick on you too because you're there. I mean, that's all it takes.
Why you pick on YouTube? They're a good band.
Well, I like early YouTube more than I do modern YouTube. Modern YouTube got too freaking.
Yeah, they got modernized. I know. Yeah. I've seen the change.
Go back to making good music. Stop telling me how to spend my money, you multi-billionaire. I'm sorry, but telling me to send all my money to God only knows where, that I don't need it. Okay, you have how many billions? Why don't you just go fix the problem?
Raging against the machine became raging for the machine. Is basically what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's why I still listen to Iron Maiden. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry for listening.
Don't be sorry about that. Don't be sorry for Iron Maiden.
Apologies for that.
Oh.
For apologizing for that one.
I didn't like the Book of Souls, but they bounced back.
I don't think I jumped in on that one. I kind of started tapping out of them around Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, they bounced back from that one though.
But I think we're probably going to call it here. We've been going for almost 2 hours, and we have we went down to 18 and back up to 24 in chat. So this is the first for me to hit like 20 plus on a stream. Maybe I'm streaming at the wrong time.
That, or again, I think people, it is a different, it's a different, you said it best, actually. It's a different culture over here. And some of that culture is they like what we're talking about.
Well, I advertise this one a little bit more in some of the Rumble community too. And I think part of it is them just getting used to when I'm doing stuff or knowing I'm doing stuff and having time. Because let's be fair, like even on Rumble, there's a few people that do it for a living, but a lot of us are doing it because it's what we want to do and we want to be part of that community, right? And it's the same way most streamers do things, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on Kick, or whether you're on YouTube. That there's that sense of community that you have, and it exists here too, right? This isn't just a platform for like political agendas and political talk. It is a legit growing gaming community. So, and
just keep it pure and talk about what you like. It's
exciting to be in it in this early, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
you just got to keep it pure and talk about what you like, and people will catch on to it.
Yeah,
as long as you keep it pure and to the truth.
Yep.
You know, that's what people care more about than anything nowadays, because I think they're getting tired of the just clickbait stuff. A lot of people are starting to reach out for pure talk.
Well, not on YouTube.
Gaming and not on YouTube. No, but
not on YouTube.
Panda says, Nick, your stream quality on Rumble looks like Angelina Jolie. Your stream on YouTube looks like just saying.
I like the last woman that played Tomb Raider, not Angela Jolie.
What? Whoa. Wait, whoa.
Angela Jolie got super big feet. That turned me off in a minute. Sorry. And she ain't that cute. I don't know why people are looking at her like that.
She's got, don't get me wrong, she's got the crack lips, but you get past that and she's gorgeous.
No, Jessica Alba is gorgeous.
I feel like this is sort of akin to me telling you, like if I said Holly Berry wasn't attractive, which would be a straight out lie, because if you're hetero in any respect and you don't find Holly Berry attractive even to today, there's something wrong.
When she was younger, she was attractive.
She still is.
She's still
like Selma Hayek is still freaking attractive at her age. Oh my Lord.
Sir X-Man is officially on drugs like meth, it says Panda.
Yes.
Now y'all can't.
Big Box says no offense, but you guys aren't that cute either. Hey, sir.
I'm below average. I don't care. I'm below average. I don't care.
No.
Women still like me, so I don't care.
Ted Brenneman says YouTube chat is like a human zoo with no cages.
I saw that. It's true. It's true sometimes.
Oh, Lord. It is.
And honestly, my chat, at least on RetroRoots, is usually phenomenal. The people that come to watch this show are the best of YouTube. You've got people like Zombie, you've got people like Matthews, you've got people like Luke's Awakening, you've got Eugene here, you've got Scrambles, you've got Oak City. These are great people. And if you watch YouTube at all and you don't check these guys out, that is to your detriment. DJC has a great channel as well. He does a lot of work here on Rumble also.
Yep.
But there are an astronomical amount of good people on YouTube as well. So don't let it be said that I don't love my YouTube audience and those guys.
Look, there are plenty.
Those guys are amazing. And there's people that aren't even in this chat tonight that I didn't see. Like Mazen Power and stuff like that. Stampede Gaming runs a great channel, and he was on here for a little while too. These are great guys. As much as I like to bag on YouTube and the culture sometimes, I have met some of the coolest people there.
Right, I need to
period.
No, I have too, and a lot, and I've met some of these guys through you. What I would say is basically you don't even have to. Even if you're not setting up a channel, which is fine, at least just sign up so you can come hang out in the chat, right? Because especially now that more people are watching on Rumble and coming in, and there's all new people like Brother Hemp that are good people that you want to interact with, And Hemp's learning, he's getting to know Big Block and Back from the Dead and Panda and Chuck and us. And I'd love to see him, talk with some of the guys down there as well. Matthews is up here, so he's getting to know Matthews. He's getting to know Vinny. So
Vinny's a great dude. Vinny I didn't meet until I made the Geek Story channel on YouTube, and Vinny's a fantastic guy.
And I met
he
Vinny.
Also streams on Kick. So
I met Vinny through
you. Guys check out Kick at all? Look for Vinny Zero on Kick.
No.
He's a
guy. I'm the oldest person
great
here.
Dude.
Hemp, you're one of the
oldest person here. Just put it like that, everyone. These guys are still babies to me, and got diapers on. They still got bottles, So, but old men don't get no love.
So the youngest down here on this panel then is 46. So that should tell you something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm 58.
Hemp, you're one of the good guys that we found on this platform. Just straight out.
Yeah, and there's a number of them. Like
I haven't
spend an hour going through a list and not hit everybody.
I haven't seen a bad person yet on Rumble. To be honest, I really haven't. I haven't come across
anybody that I just don't get along with at all on Rumble yet either.
Exactly. They're just.
I'm sure they exist. There's too many people on the platforms. There's going to be somebody that you're just not going to get along because that's just how the world works. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with either person. You just don't get along.
All right.
But I think at this point we are going to call it. It has been almost 2 hours. I actually expected this one to be a little shorter than this. And I'm kind of I'm kind of getting all emotional talking about everybody I've met online that's been freaking amazing.
Awesome?
And I'm super excited to meet more people on both platforms, quite frankly. Though I do think most of my streaming and stuff and a lot of exclusive stuff is going to be on Rumble. I see a lot of love there. I see a lot of good content there. I see a lot of people very passionate there. It's the same people I see on YouTube. I would love you guys to intermingle more. So if you're on either platform and you're okay checking out the other platform, please do. These guys are all worth a view. They're just, I can't say enough good things about them, period. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. It has been an absolute great show, a little bit scatterbrained, but that's us in a nutshell.
What we do. What we do.
It's kind of what we do. We do hit on the topic and it kind of goes off the rails and we just go with it because a lot of times that's more fun.
Yeah. So, we're a chat driven show. And then when Sir X is on, we're a Sir X driven show.
We are.
You know what's funny? I barely said anything today. I only said a few things and you guys just ran off the rails with it. You did. I'm sorry. He says so. I just got one thing to say. I grew up in a generation with Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Mm-hmm.
And
her sister.
And I Dream of Jeannie. And Barbara Eden still looks good to this day. Sorry, I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, wait. Angelina doesn't, but...
I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. Rex says,
you guys
never, a topic.
This young people didn't watch.
I'm becoming more like Next Level Gaming. Every show we do, where the topic is more a suggestion.
Right.
So tell us about your griddle experience this weekend, Mike.
Brennan's like, RetroRoots has gone off the rails before?
No.
I see how it is. is.
I'm going to say something retro gaming. All I know is the Dreamcast made the greatest version of Soul Calibur that was better than the arcade version. That's all I'm going to say.
That is correct, sir.
We're going to end it there. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Next up on Rumble, DJC 7-hour stream. It's not going to be a 7-hour stream. What it's going to be is 7 1-hour streams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing everything like they're doing Final Fantasy VII. It's
going to be like 710-minute streams.
Right. DJC Studios. The episodic series.
Yeah. There'll be a new stream every 10 minutes until you hit 7 hours. However many streams that is, that's what you get.
Wow, that's a beautiful work.
You guys are gonna keep me going until like 2 a.m.
No, I can't because I'm.
It is. You guys are starting to
You
filter
guys
in
got to
again.
remember,
You see how it is?
I did fast for the last
This
24
is
hours.
why
I'm
you never
running
stop
out of.
streaming
I'm
either,
running
Mike.
out of gas.
You tell everybody you're going to bed, and they go out and they find more people.
No, I'm running out of gas. Yeah, I know. There's still 27 people watching this. This is what happens to me. This is why I end up streaming until 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to feel that
right.
now.
The
This
30
usually
of
doesn't
you that
happen
are
to me.
still
I stream in
watching,
the
I really have
afternoon,
to
and it's
go
like,
to bed.
I start out with a bunch of people, and by
makes
the
me
end,
do
everybody's
that.
going, I'm bored now, I'm going away. And I'm like, I understand.
Yeah,
Starfield makes me do that, guys. I'm telling you, Starfield makes me do that.
Yeah, it
Next
was like
thing I know is 8 to 9 hours later.
It was
I'm
Friday.
like, you gotta be kidding.
It was literally Friday night, and I'm like, it's 1 in the morning, and I'm playing, and there's still 40 people watching. I'm like, all right, I'll go another half hour, and I look over, 38 people. All right, I'll go another half. I'm like 2 in the morning. I'm like, guys, I love you, but I gotta get some sleep. And I mean, I was, but that's the humbling. It's the humbling part of the platform.
Both of you guys remember where this started
I'm honestly shocked and
the first time
and pretty touched that this many people popped in to watch my teeny tiny little podcast on my microscopic channel. I've had almost as many people I have in chat as I have following the channel, which is insane.
Well, you gained 2
followers. You remember
on
where
top
this
of that.
started? Remember when we all first started playing Xbox Live and we looked at the time and went, "Oh my God, Jesus, it's almost time for me to go to work."
Yeah,
come on,
well,
you can't tell me.
I did that a few times with Diablo. I'd be up till 4 a.m. and go, I have class at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
That's
when Red Bull was a thing back then.
I don't even think Red Bull was a thing when I did this. I was just like, oh, this one's gonna hurt. Because I couldn't miss class, man. And it was an hour drive.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Ow. Yeah. Ow is a word.
We've all been through that,
man.
Man.
We are going to dip at this point. Yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hit the like button, follow, do all those good things. Check out the other people that were in here interacting and we're just like hanging out.
Yep.
Check them all out. They're all amazing people. I can't say enough good about them. There aren't enough words or time in the day. So
I got a couple words tomorrow night, 9:30.
Everybody have a good time.
Play on, gamers.
Yep.
Happy gaming.